is Stephanie Wagner. I'm a trainer and program specialist with Healthy Minds Innovations, and I'm really delighted that you're joining me for some practice today. So, as we're getting ready to get started, if you would be so kind as to introduce yourself to me using the chat, let me know where you're from and maybe a word that describes how you are feeling today. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Messing with my second monitor. Sorry about that. All right, so for those of you that aren't familiar, let me tell you who we are at Healthy Minds Innovations. We're a nonprofit that's affiliated with the Center for Healthy Minds at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And what we do is we translate the scientific insights coming out of the Center for Healthy Minds into tools to help people both cultivate as well as measure well-being. And we've been coming together as a global community, really, with meditators from around the world to practice together in the midst of this stay-at-home order. And now that the world is opening up, we're continuing to come together and really develop this sense of community to train our minds in qualities that are associated with well-being. Today, our practice theme is all around directing attention. And attention is one of the skills that we train that's related to the dimension of well being in our Healthy Minds model that is awareness. So, if you're interested in finding out more about our model of well being, it has four different areas that we train in: awareness, connection, insight, and purpose. And we thought that it actually might be a good idea to sort of get back to the foundational practices as we are continuing to go down the path of practicing together. So, an awareness skill seemed like the right thing to offer today. Now, as we are moving into talking about attention, let's just define what that means exactly. So, with attention, what we're working with is this capacity to intentionally direct our mind to focus on something specific rather than the mind just responding from a place of habit. So, we can direct our mind to be aware and pay attention to something. We can sustain our attention by being with that thing with some kind of focus, that object or whatever it is that we're working with. And then we can become aware, we can resist distraction when those things kind of crop up in our experience. And so, what we wanted to do today is to talk a little bit about directing attention. And as I'm looking in the chat box here, hello, hello, for those of you that are introducing yourselves, thank you so much. I see we've got some people from the Midwest in the US today and also from overseas. So wonderful. Really happy that you are all here with me today. It's very hot here in Minneapolis, I have to say. It's about 95 degrees. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll do about a 20-minute period of practice today, and I'm going to guide you through step by step, paying attention to different things within your body and different aspects of your environment. We'll just get curious around what it's like to sort of direct our attention. All right, let's go ahead and get comfortable here. Taking your posture, allowing the body to be relaxed, upright. You can close your eyes or leave them open. Take a couple of slow, deep breaths. Letting go of any busyness of your day. Taking a moment to set an intention, a motivation for practice today that extends beyond doing this just for the benefit of your own well-being, but really practicing to benefit others as well, knowing that our efforts have a ripple effect into the relationships with people that we know and even people that we don't know. So may we enter into this path of practice for the benefit of well-being of all beings. And so the first exploration that we'll do today is to direct our attention to different sensations in our body. This can be easier done with eyes closed if you like, but again, work with whatever feels natural to you. So direct your attention to the top of your head and see if you can notice any sensations that are happening at the top of your head. You might feel subtle tingling, or if maybe you have a headache, you might feel some tightness. Here we're directing our attention on purpose to the sensations at the top of our head. And now let's move our attention to the back of the head, the neck, and the shoulders. Notice sensations there. Do you notice any areas of tension or tightness? Maybe there's no sensation, and that's okay too. Whatever's happening in this moment is okay. Direct your attention to your face and the muscles in your face, your eyes, your jaw. Simply knowing those sensations that are happening, not trying to fix or change them in any way. And now direct your attention to your chest and abdomen. Notice sensations there. Feeling of your chest and belly rising and falling naturally with the breath. And remember, it's really natural to get distracted. And so when that happens, simply redirect your attention back to the body, in this case, the chest and the belly. Notice the sensations now in your back, middle of your back and your lower back. Simply directing your attention to that area. What does it feel like to be supported by the chair or a cushion? Simply notice that. Now direct your attention to the feeling underneath your upper legs in your seat, noticing if it feels hard or soft. Simply directing attention with intention to this feeling of being supported by the chair. And then directing your attention to your lower legs. Notice the feeling in your shins and calves. Might be the feeling of subtle air movement or clothing on the surface of your skin. And then even noticing the feeling of your feet being supported by the floor. Again, redirecting your attention back to sensations in the body each time your mind may have wandered off, perhaps thinking about what you have to do for the rest of the day or the evening. We just continue to redirect our attention back when we get distracted or lost. And so let's pause for a moment and allow the mind to rest. And open awareness, which is simply this state of knowing there's no particular object, an opportunity for us to rest our minds in this sort of natural, relaxed state. You might notice that there are thoughts present. It's okay. Simply allowing whatever is happening in your mind to occur. All right. We just had the opportunity to work with directing attention, and I think it might be interesting to work with sustaining attention. And so, what we're going to do is we're going to work with the breath, and we're going to count each cycle of breath. So, the way that this works is you'll breathe naturally in, and you'll silently in your mind recite one, one, one. And as you exhale, one, one, one. Inhale, two, two, two. Exhale, two, two, two. And so you're going to count 3 cycles of breath, and then you'll start again at one. The idea here is that you're sustaining your attention for as long as you can. And when you get lost, if you don't make it to the count of 3, redirect your attention back to the breath and start counting again. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Exhaling the stale breath and inhaling to the count of one. Exhaling to the count of 1. Counting that next inhale, count of 2, 2, 2. Exhale to the count of 2. Continuing at your own pace until you reach 3 cycles and then start again. So there's this sense of breathing naturally and counting each cycle. And with the counting, there's this sense of knowing. And when you're no longer with that sense of knowing, you start counting again. And if at any time the breath does not feel supportive for your practice today, just bring your attention back to the sensations in the body or work with something else to support your practice. Remembering to return back to 1 each time you find that you're disconnected or distracted within your practice. All right, let's give the mind a break and allow the mind to rest for a moment. You can notice anything that's coming up in your practice, if you have any judgments, beliefs, or assumptions. You can simply just notice those thoughts, any emotions or sensations that are present. There's no need to fix or alter your experience in any way. All right, we're going to try it again, and this time we're going to count to 5. So on the inhale, counting 1, 1, 1. Exhaling 1, 1, 1. So counting 5 cycles of breath. So let's see if we can sustain our attention for 5 full breaths. Going at your own pace. Notice where your mind is. Are you with the counting? Are you somewhere else? And come back again. See if you can make it to 5. Notice any tendency to be too tight within the practice. This is not so effortful. I mean, there is some effort, but it's a little gentle effort. All right, wherever you are in your counting, let's go ahead and just allow the mind to rest one more time. Nothing to pay attention to, simply allowing the mind to rest in this natural state of awareness. Okay, and let's try one more thing. We're going to direct and sustain awareness of sound. So simply notice some sound that's happening in your environment. It might be the sound of a fan or air conditioning if you have it, birds or cars. Just see if you can direct your attention to the sound. Simply being with that knowing of the sound. You can get curious around what it's like to pay attention to different sounds. There might even be those moments where there's no sound. And then you just allow the mind to rest in open awareness. All right, allow the mind to once again just rest, letting go of awareness of sound, taking just a moment to conclude our practice by resting once again in awareness. All right, if your eyes have been closed, you can go ahead and open your eyes. Curious what you noticed from your practice today. Perhaps you noticed distraction. Perhaps you noticed your attention was kind of stable and steady. If you feel comfortable, would love to just hear from you something about your practice. So we experimented with a couple of different things today. So the first is we experimented with directing attention to sensations in our body. So normally our attention is kind of going all over the place. We normally don't control it. So here with intention and with mindfulness, we were paying attention to sensations in our body, and we work step by step through body top to toe. And then what we did was we worked on sustaining attention, experimented with counting breaths. Again, this just allows you to sort of sustain that kind of focused attention. We started with counting 3 cycles of breath, then tried to stretch it to 5 counts of breath. So you may have noticed that it was maybe easier for you to do it for shorter than it was longer. Certainly, a lot can change in terms of practice being very up and down. And then we directed our attention to work with sound in the environment and just seeing what it was like to be purposeful around directing our attention to sound. All right, it looks like people are pretty quiet today, but someone did respond that it felt comfortable, practice felt comfortable. Anyone else? Yeah, you're welcome, Sandra. Thanks for joining today from Mexico. It was really wonderful to be with you today. Thank you so much for your practice. And if you're interested in finding out more about our program, you can download our app, which is freely offered due to the generosity of our donors. We're adding new content all the time in our singles section, so really fun way to just explore different things. But start training your mind in skills associated with awareness like attention, and there will be someone back guiding you in practice this Thursday. Yeah, so David said distraction. Yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. And yeah, anything that happens in your practice is okay because you know what, at least we're trying, right? So look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, but please join us again on Thursday for our next guided practice. Hope you have a wonderful day.